Welcome to CareerMetis Podcast, Episode 3. My name is Nisar Ahmed. I am your host for the episode. I'm also the founder and editor of CareerMetis.com. Um, Today's topic is the benefits of having a job. Now, you might wonder, why would I want to speak about something like that? Um, of course, there are obvious benefits, which I'll get to in a bit, but there are a lot of other benefits. But the reason I'm speaking about this, I don't think there are many related topics that is as controversial as this. There are a lot of conflicting views. For example, I don't think a day goes by where you would not turn on your television, read the newspaper, or even go on social media such as Facebook and read or hear about people quitting their jobs, um, and and jumping on a business venture where they only work 4 hours a day, sipping pina colada sitting on a beach with their laptops open, making millions. And these stories are there every day, and I think these stories in many ways, some of them are true. I know people who have quit their life in North America, went to Thailand. They're working, they built a career there, they're happy. But the story that the media portrays about a job as something, as a miserable existence, um, I don't think it is completely true. There are a lot of benefits for having a job. So before I get into the benefits, I want to make sure, I want to qualify myself. I am in no way um, putting down self-employment or entrepreneurship. I think these are individuals that take the risk, uh, create jobs, create products, build economies. Most of the world economy relies on people like this. Every small company was one. Every big corporation today was once somebody's venture. So I have a lot of respect for people who start their own businesses. However, I also find when I have conversations with others, I also get asked these questions um, about young professionals, millennials, and even people as they in the late 30s. They look at their job as something they have to bear. They can't wait till Friday. They dread Sunday nights and Monday mornings, and for them, a job is an means to an end. So I want to burst some myths, and I want to lay it straight down about some of the benefits. So let's get started. I think benefit number one is obvious. Uh, it's the paycheck, of course. I'm not going to lie. We live in an economy. We don't live in a barter society anymore. Most of us live in cities, towns. Um, Having a job gives you a paycheck, and a paycheck allows you to pay your rent. If you have a mortgage, pay your mortgage, pay for your car, pay for having a nice life. It gives you a sense of financial um, financial purpose. I would say. I mean, I think financial purpose is a long word. It gives you freedom to some degree to do things that you want to do, which would not happen if you did not have the job. So, over my career, the last 10 years, I've been employed most of my time. There have been, I would say, weeks or months where I did not have a job, or I was looking for a job. I was going through a transition. It was difficult. My freedom was restricted about what I can do. Now, going back, the paycheck definitely is an obvious thing, but it is important. Trust me. I mean, most of us work for a for-profit capacity. Even people working in a non-profit, they do get paid, and it is important to get paid. So that's number one. Number two, I don't think you would have heard about this, but I think a job gives people a sense of identity. Let me explain. Ever been to a cocktail party or a networking event? The first thing after they ask you, I mean, first thing obviously they ask you who you are. The next thing they ask you is what do you do, and it's sort of conditioning people to ask that question. So automatically people create a sense of identity. It does give you a sense of identity when you're explaining what you do. It is who you are. A doctor doesn't, let's say you go to an event, you meet a doctor or a lawyer, they don't introduce themselves as, yeah, my name is John Smith and my hobbies are I go fishing. That would come later, but they always tell about what they do. And this for this reason, I think it's important because your job gives you a sense of identity. I think even if you have your own business or you're self-employed, let's say you own your own construction company, you work your own hours. At the end of the day, you're still working for someone. It's still a job in some capacity. Um, Now, when I mention sense of identity, I'm not saying it's an indication of everything about you, but it is the starting point. Yeah. So the next thing I would say is the benefits of having a job is learn new skills. Most of us have had an education. We've gone to school, we got a degree. A lot of the knowledge we have acquired over there is theory, but when we go into the real life, this is common knowledge. We rarely use that. We are required to deliver practical ideas, practical skill sets. And any job you go to, you will learn new things. You will learn new technology. You will learn how to do things. You will learn communication skills, how to speak to people, how to run meetings, how to present meetings, how to negotiate. And these are all skills. Trust me, these are all skills you can learn by pay. There are courses you can pay to go and learn negotiation skills, but nothing beats learning the on-the-job skills that you pick up. So that's a huge advantage. And another advantage of these skills is it allows you to carry these skills. Once a skill set is um, imbibed into you, it becomes a part of you. You can take it wherever you want. Let me give you an example. My personal career, I started out in sales. I still work in sales. That was a career I wanted to. I learned a lot of skills. I've learned prospecting skills. I've learned how to negotiate. I've learned how to present, ask questions. Now, even when I moved companies, yes, all the intricate details of these changes, but the basics are still the same. And any employer is looking for that skills that you can carry over. I have a friend. He recently moved away from North America. He picked himself up and went to Thailand. And over his career, he has worked as a developer, a programmer, and these are skills that he can use anywhere he goes. So, and he learned all the skills. Yes, he from the jobs and the companies he worked for. So, learning skills is a great advantage, and that is something you get by working for a company or having a job. Think about it this way: someone is paying you to learn new things, and if you decide one day to leave and go somewhere else and use those skills, they're not going to stop you because we all know people leave jobs. So learn new skills. The next benefit would be to meet new people. I have been fortunate. If I look back at my life, my working life, most of my very good friends, I met them at work. I did not have the intention of going into work to make friends. No, I went in. Any company I've joined because I wanted to earn a living, learn new skills, get promoted, move up in the company. But as I spend more time, I've started I started to work with people around me. Over time, I've become good friends with them. Some of the friends I'm still keep in touch with whom I worked 5 6 years ago. So that is that's a huge advantage. You don't necessarily have to um, go out looking for friends when you see people 8 hours a day. That is half of your waking hours. If you sleep 8 hours a day, you have 16 hours. Half of your waking hours, um, you are you are at the office. So it's natural that over time you will build connections with these people. And let's say you move to a new city or a new country. That's an automatic way to make new friends. Uh, there's always a social component with any type of work, except there are exceptions, of course. If you are remote, if you work remotely, yes, you work for a company, but you work remotely, but you're still interacting with people. The next thing in the list is it gives you work-life balance. Now, remember I told you at the beginning, I was talking about um, you see all these ads on Facebook, you read articles on websites such as businessinsider.com, where individuals only work 4 hours a day and they make $20,000 a month, and they they have this great sense of work and they're partying all the time. Um, like I mentioned, these stories are not false, they are true, but the numbers are very, very, very minimum. Even if you look at a book, for example, a book that capitalized and revolutionized on this idea is 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Someone I do respect a lot. I read his content, but even then, before he got to that point, he worked really hard. He had his own business. He worked in a job. He's picked up skills. So don't look at the end results. Look at the journey. So going back to the point, work-life balance. What do I mean by that? If you are like most people, uh, you work 40 hours, 50 hours, 40 hours, 35 hours, and then after work, you go home or leave the office and do what you have to do. Compare that to an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is always working. A business person, somebody who's self-employed, is always working. I have a friend who's a realtor. He's working on the weekends. Let's say you are a plumber. You're working on the weekends. You are self-employed. You own your own business, but you don't have the work-life balance that someone else has. So that itself is a great benefit, because you, after working your job, you can go out and do what you want to do. You can pick up new skills, learn hobbies, anything. um, and if you look at the trend right now, North America has a reputation of having long hours, but if you look at Europe, there are restrictions on how long someone can work in the office. I don't know when Canada, US, and the rest of the world will catch up to something like that. But if you look at Europe, for example, Sweden has formulated, and I think they're making it sort of a mandate where the 6 hour work day. You're not allowed to work more than 6 hours. Get your stuff done, and after that, the day is all yours. In Germany, they're passing a law where employers are not supposed to contact someone after work, after hours. It's so there are lots of things changing, and with technology, you will be spending less time at the job. Um, I'm not saying all jobs are like that. For example, someone on Wall Street, they work 60, 80 hours a week. So I'm not saying all jobs, but you do get a sense of work-life balance. And I would say the last thing I would talk about is a job gives you a sense of meaning and purpose. Now, I talked about sense of identity earlier. That is totally different. But you might wonder, what does meaning and purpose mean? I mean, what does that mean? So let me explain. I know. Bear with me for a second, right? Every job is important. Every job. That's me saying every job is important. Now you might think that you're working at McDonald's, and it is not. It doesn't make as much of impact as a CEO. Actually, that's not true. Yes, CEO has bigger responsibility, but let's take the McDonald's example, right? You're a cook in the kitchen, and people don't necessarily see you, right? That you're working in the back, but people come to McDonald's. Why? Because they're hungry, right? They're hungry. They come to McDonald's or any other fast food store. So right there, your job is very important. Somebody is hungry. They come to your store, and you're the one. They may not thank you. They may not see you, but you're the one helping feed that hunger. Now, I'm not saying that the job cooking food at McDonald's is very complex, but it still fills some level of purpose. Um, let's let's look at this. For example, let's look at you're listening to this podcast, right? I'm recording this is on a microphone. It's called a CAD microphone. It's attached to my laptop. I'm using a headphone. I'm putting it on the internet. All these things, they were created by someone, right? And maybe you needed to listen to this message today, and all there were people involved which I've not seen, you have never seen, who are involved in making these things, making these products, and I'm using them and using my voice. You're listening to you're listening to this podcast, And maybe you needed to see this message. Maybe this message resonates with you. Maybe you get some benefit. Maybe it motivates you. I don't know. But there you go. There's always a loop, a circle. There is always anything you purchase, someone is working on it. And because of that, one of your needs get met. So every job, I can go on giving you examples about this, but I think you get the point, right? So of course, now we talked about people using that product, but look at the flip side, right? Anybody who gets a job, they make an income and they pay some taxes. Now, the government's sole source of income is taxes. And but the taxes they collect from you, and they collect taxes from everybody in most countries. The taxes they collect from you, they use that money to build schools, build roads, pay the cops, pay the firemen. So, and that keeps the economy going. So there is like a cycle of things. So I can go on. So in terms of the meaning and purpose, what I want you to get out of this is, no matter what you do, you may not like it, you may not enjoy it today, but your job is not only adding benefit for yourself, but for indirectly for others as well. So, folks, I've given you some of the reasons. Now, I'm assuming, and I'm pretty confident actually, there are many other reasons for having a job. I don't want to inundate you with tons of ideas, but I wanted to give you these 6 things. I did write a post about this a few months back, and I will submit that as a link as well below this post. Well, thanks for listening to the episode. If you liked what you heard, feel free to subscribe to the CareerMetis Podcast on iTunes. My goal is to invite guests from whom I can learn and you can learn as well, and give you more content, give you more ideas that will help you in your career. And as always, for more content, ideas, tips, resources, go to CareerMetis.com. If you enjoyed this particular episode and also learned something new, feel free to post a comment. And if you really loved it, definitely go ahead and share the episode with your social circle. Until next time, this is Nisar Ahmed, your host for the CareerMetis Podcast. Thank you.